So we also have another feature on here, which is the advanced graph query. Let me hit that. The advanced graph query is a lot like our old analytics pipeline, except the user experience is much better. We used to have an analytics pipeline editor, and you could drop a MongoDB query on it, and you would get a graph. But it was, well, it didn't include any kind of real-time feedback, right? This one is much, much better. It has a little preview button. It even detects your mouse clicks and allows you to kind of type things in here and display the chart in real time. So there we go. You'll notice I just took out the canonicalization. These guys are now showing email addresses instead of their display names. I'll put them back, and it just, it's got a timeout every 500 milliseconds or so. If the text has changed, it redraws the graph. That's fantastic because one of the I wouldn't say issues, but it was difficult to use that old aggregation tool. And like I just mentioned, the old aggregation tool was very tightly coupled to MongoDB, couldn't take advantage of that awesome acceleration. So what I'm typing here is not really a MongoDB pipeline, it's a VQL query, which shares some original DNA with Mongo, but it's sort of merged with ElasticSearch as far as the philosophy of the query language. And in order to help you kind of author this stuff, we have what we call VQL Workshop. You can find this as a link that is under the builder. There's also a tab on the All Management Tools, and that All Management Tools tab actually says something like Analytics Debugger, but it gets you to the same place. This is tied to the data set you were just looking at. There's kind of one of these for every LRS on the system, and it comes with a big set of examples. So, score over time. Let's do a split bar. I showed you a split bar earlier using the graph builder, but you can just as well author the query yourself. There's things that VQL can not yet kind of exposed to the graph builder interface, like the Gantt chart, right? Or let me show you something especially awesome. The path renderer, right? This lets you kind of examine how people flow through paths. And there's a lot to learn about how each of these different things operates. I've got it all in the default configuration right now, but there's a lot of different ways that you can sort of do logic over these things. But so this is where you would come to sort of test out a query. One of the things that's nice about this is it gives you some more server feedback. You can see what we call the execution plan, which makes sure that your query is sort of compiled into the operations that you think it should be. We have the raw data output here, and then we have the render. So there's lots and lots and lots of examples. I'm not going to belabor each of them. There is a pretty robust set of information under the manual, the user manual on Veracity query language. So this is where you'll find all that, and it's there's a lot of article here actually. So this is a pretty complete discussion of how all of this works. But I'm not really going to demo to you in real time right now is the mechanism that we use for you to render this stuff. One of the design goals of the whole system is to sort of split out rendering from, I should say physical rendering from querying. Although there are rendering primitives in the query language, what they return is a data structure that describes what the render should look like. If you want to sort of take a VQL result in one of your own web pages, say use an Ajax query to make a command to the analysis endpoint on the LRS, which accepts VQL, what you get back, of course, is a JSON VQL result. And if you want to render it, we have a cool way for you to do that. You can integrate from lrs.io the renderer.js file. You can host that locally if you want to, but we kind of use it like a CDN at lrs.io. You could just include that JS file, and then what you would do in your HTML is you would say VQL render whatever your result is, right? And then we have a little bit of like theming stuff you can do here as well, so that you can like customize the display. And that allows you to create kind of custom dashboards.